Yo, what's up, everybody? Long time no see. Let's get it.
That's my baby. That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
Left, feet left.
What the hell was that? Oh, yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Yo, what's up, everybody? Kicking it stateside. Yeah. Some familiar faces back in the business right now. Adam Modick, Brian Wheeler. We are back after a 3-month little hiatus, taking a breather after the busy, probably once the pandemic we came back, a year ago, the full soccer slate was just jam-packed. And like the players, we need a little rest too. But have no fear, we're back and rolling again. Feels great. I'm joined again by my lovely, looking good as ever, Brian Wheeler. How we doing, my friend?
Oh, my brother. It's so great to see your face again and to be back here doing our thing. It's I couldn't believe that it had been 3 months when you had sent me that. And yeah, we've talked about this in the past. Life kind of had to happen, and you and I literally both got opposite conflicting schedules. So we did everything we could, but we found a way to regroup here for the new year, and we are back. So glad to have everybody back with us, back on A2D Radio, where we belong. Dr. Paul Vidal, still our sponsor, the great one. And yeah, man,
he's still the best in South Jersey.
He's still the best. That has not changed in those 3 months. Hopefully you've been going to him for all your aches and pains and needs, recovery needs as well. And then all those youth athletic programs that they do have. So,
absolutely. Yes. I mean, 3 months has gone by and there has been a shit ton going on, obviously, in the soccer world that has been great. Obviously, we're trying to get into like this review of a show, since obviously if we had to touch the last 3 months, it's near impossible. We'd honestly probably be talking for weeks on end about the last 3 months. So we're going to try and get an hour and a half and kind of skim a little bit what's going on, touch what's going down in the Prem right now. What's up, Greggy? Good to see you, buddy. Good to be back. Thank you. But yes, what's going down in the Premier League? We got, we'll tell you a little bit how the U.S. men's national team left off. They're qualifying, sitting pretty well right now, with 8 games played and about 6 left. Sitting pretty nice. It's now, I'm sure Dan, wherever Daniel may be, I'm sure he's very happy now that the Canadians are now apparently a soccer powerhouse and sitting in front of us, 1 point from 8 games played. So congrats to them. They're a great squad. And it could be down to that game coming up. We'll talk a little bit about it. U.S. following Canada. Big game that may decide the group winner heading into qualifying in Qatar, which will be in November this year and not in the normal like June, July window.
Yeah, I'll be happy top 2 regardless. Just get the top 2, get and not have to worry about anything. We'll be okay.
Exactly. But yes, as Greg kind of mentioned, poll question again, leaning towards the Premier League. Obviously, nothing's changed as far as that goes as well. Manchester City, sitting atop of the table currently right now, 10 points clear of Chelsea and 11 points clear of Liverpool. Is this reign of power, them winning the last, 3 out of the 5 years here, is that good or bad for the league? I'm thinking that it's probably not good because I feel like that money, talking with, Lord Walker that everyone knows here at A2D, it's just going to get worse. That money's still going to stack up. Man City's still going to have that, supply line of funds coming in. And the players are just going to still be there, right? They're still going to bring in that talent. You know, they're letting go of Ferran Torres, which is like, you know, didn't even play barely. So it's like you have that depth in that, you know, the guys, they believe in Pep. Pep's obviously done it wherever he's gone. So, I mean, what do you think? Is this a bad thing for the Prem that they're winning and kind of, you know, running away with this like so early, you know, into this season here?
Well, I don't know. I have a couple philosophies of thoughts on it. One is, you know, I'm still not ready to crown these guys champions yet. You know, everything I keep reading, it's like, you know, these guys, they're going to do it again. They're going to do it again. They're on this run. Yeah, they're on a tremendous run. They started off a little rocky. Danny, you spoke them right back into fruition there. So, again,
I said, I know he's lingering somewhere.
Welcome, guys. But, you know, like, they're 10 points clear right now. But I think we discussed it the other day. There's, 33 points left. And, yeah, they're playing at a pretty good clip right now. They're on a nice run right now. But those runs can come to an end. I mean, Arsenal played them well. Arsenal was Gabriel Malagas not getting a red card away from being in that game all the way to the end, possibly winning that game. I don't know. Is it bad? Yes, if it becomes where nobody else is keeping up with them. But at the same time, now you're going to see it. Maybe this is what it's going to take. I mean, I know Lord Walker calls, whatever, for the Super League. I don't believe in the Super League still. I think it takes away a lot of history in all these countries of these teams and what they've supplanted in their said countries, including in Spain and France and all that. I think it's just now everybody else's job to kind of find a way to keep up. You see Newcastle is, getting their new ownership. Arsenal for sure has spent the money. They might not have spent it right up until recently, but for a long time there, they were still spending the money. Chelsea's spending the money. United spending the money. Now there's talk of Southampton maybe getting, a buyout. Like, it's up to everybody else to keep up. This is sports and competitive. Like, these guys aren't unbeatable. They're not unbeatable. If you look at, Liverpool's right there with them. Chelsea's right there with them. As far as the money goes, as far as the competition goes, I don't know. I still hate to say that it's bad. It's like growing up as a baseball fan in, the 90s era with the Yankees, and they just outspent everybody, and they won, but it's like, was it bad for baseball? Not necessarily.
Nah, not really. I mean, kind of like what Eddie says. I mean, all these teams, you're going to see all these new, rich oil owners coming in and taking over the clubs, maybe trying to compete with, Man City. We're going to see it, like you mentioned, Southampton apparently got bought up as well. Now Newcastle, apparently that takeover's coming. Yeah,
it looks like Kieran Trippier is already on his way. That sounds like that's a done deal.
Unfortunately, Newcastle's going to need a lot more help than
Kieran.
If they don't get like Mbappe or Haaland, they might as well they're wasting their time because Kieran
they want Oba
in the league.
They might take Oba off our hands. Oh, I'm
sure you'd love that. I mean,
it'd be beautiful. And by the way, everybody, for all the Arsenal brethren that might be joining us. Oh, look at that! Keep dreaming, boys. Thanks for joining us, Ray. By the way, I had this on because they've been on an absolute tremendous run, and we'll discuss it. We'll discuss that at some point when we get more into the Prem. But I had to switch to this to represent for your boy. Thank you today, Kai Havertz. Beautiful goal to get started. Spurs go down 2-0. No cups for Spurs this year. Let's go. We were all Chelsea fans today. Let's be real.
It's always the time when Spurs lose any match, but
I was watching Barca losing. They ended up coming back and winning a game that they absolutely should, since they were playing a third-tier team from Spain. But they were down 1-0 at halftime, and then I flipped on and watched Chelsea handle Spurs today. So that was nice.
It's like, yeah, I mean, Ray, we're not We're not siding with anybody, especially not Man United. We are anti-Man United and Spurs on this show. So
we have some followers that are not that, but yes.
And recently, just to cause some banter for a lot of our Liverpool fans that watch this, Lord Walker and shout out Eric, and Evan is a Liverpool fan, so I like to stick it to them a little bit more these days because it's just funny how much they cry because
they're probably
injuries and COVID now. I'm sure
they're probably not watching; they're resting. They need their rest, so we have to be delayed. And we have to postpone our games just because they could have told Salah and Mane that they weren't allowed to go to the Africa Cup of Nations. They had that right. They opted not to take that right. They had a chance to play with their 18s or their 23s and man up if they think, it is what it is.
That's true.
They act like they don't value this tournament anyway. Why are they worrying about it? And for Klopp to dodge these interviews, he could do Zooms. Arteta did Zooms when he had COVID. He's just ducking. They're just ducking him.
It's all right.
I had
excuse FC recently.
Liverpool.
I don't even know. It's been an excuse ever since that season when they won it, and then Van Dijk obviously was hurt, and then
it's been
everything's been.
Oh, I like Ray. I like Ray.
Ray's coming in hot, which we always enjoy, especially if it's
fourth spot for us.
Chelsea, I know. Chelsea dropped way too many points against average sides, and that's been Chelsea's thing the past few years. Yes, Joey. Going forward, we are going to be doing Wednesdays 4:30.
Yes. For the foreseeable future. Madrid, same thing. Yeah, Real's just not. Then these guys aren't showing up against these third-tier clubs. They'll generally still find a way to win, just because the talent levels are so. But they're kind of like half-assing it here. Barca looked like in big trouble, and then they got lucky.
Barcelona's been in big trouble this whole year.
Oh yeah, well, Barca's not even going to be. They're done in Champions League going forward.
Torres, but apparently they still have to sell players off to get him on the books.
He can't even play yet, so they're not top 4 in La Liga this year. I foresee them being in Europe, but not in Champions League. And that's going to be wonderful. That's going to be wonderful.
Messi leaves, and that's what happens.
Yeah. I'm sure fans are reborn.
Well, you know what? Everybody's got their, skeletons in their closet. Lord, come on. I'm sure the Henrys have some weird shit going on.
Oh, best believe it.
I'll let Roman just chill in Russia or wherever he's hiding out these days.
Henry's got that fish money or something, don't they? Long John Silver's
going on. Don't man. Don't think your ownership group is clean. They're not getting off scot-free here. Man City always performing well, but they've been helped by weak performance. Yeah, I mean it's. You
know what City does that we talked about that the other teams don't do is they generally over the last 2 years, especially
shit out of teams that they're supposed to.
Ever since that Norwich loss a couple years ago, they have not allowed that to happen again. And yes, and they step on teams. They'll put 8 or 9 on you. Yeah.
And then that goal differential just grows and grows, and that's what they've been doing.
And they've had very healthy defense. Their defense has been healthy. They have the top 4 passers in the Premier League right now. If you go down the Premier League stats for the season, it goes Cancelo, Diaz, Laporte, Rodri before you get to Rudiger at 5. So you look at that and all those guys being healthy throughout this season and that skill level coming out of the back and having the number 1 goalie in clean sheets at 11 in Ederson. I mean, it's what else can you expect? They're not even they're not setting the world on fire. They don't have a top 5 scorer. You know, they have a top 5 assister in Gabriel Jesus. Who would have thought? Like, it's not Kevin De Bruyne. He's sitting at 3rd right now with 7. They're doing it defensively and they're beating all the teams they need to. They're not drawing teams that they shouldn't be, and they're not losing the teams that they shouldn't be. And that's when they go on these stupid runs and they get 10 points clear. But it doesn't mean that they can't have a bad stretch coming forward here. Who knows? And with all this COVID shit going right now, and these games being dropped and players being, you know, they might lose some guys and they might be forced to play games shorthanded, and it could go both ways. They've kind of dodged the bullet on some of that this year so far.
Yeah, I mean, again, but 10 points, it's going to take a, you know, miraculous.
I know, but there's 33 points left on the board. I know, and but you go through that, and I know you go through the schedule, and you're like, they're at least a point, at least a point, at least a point. I mean, you could just if you go through and just add up what they could just get in draws compared to, but.
Well, the best thing for
still got to play the game.
That draw this weekend for Chelsea-Liverpool, that was their best. They were like, yes, that's what we want, because now
it was, and that gift against Arsenal. Arsenal was in control of that game, you know, and that's not being an Arsenal fan. You could watch that game until those stupid little things happened, and
there's some weird stuff going on.
Yeah, Gabriel lost his head a little bit, but you know what? I like that guy's been playing phenomenal. It is what it is. We're still sitting in the top 4, so Danny said, Get your shots. Get my shots on who? You? That's too easy. I don't have to.
Shots on
I could just text you and get shots on you.
Yeah, Barcelona's in some financial trouble, Eddie. Yeah, Lord Walker. It's, you know, there's got to be something. Nobody's clean. That's a sport that's corrupt in their very core. Nobody's squeaky clean out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joey. It's Man City fans are like the Cowboy Yankee fans in the 90s. They just like to root for winners. And I'm sure Lord Walker can say that about Chelsea fans too, that Chelsea wasn't even that good up until, you know, Roman Abramovich brought that money in.
Yeah, Dan's talking about taking shots. If you ever want to take some shots, go to All Campus, hit the boardwalk, take some shots on the boardwalk, visit the A2D ramp booth, get 20% off everything in the store, shirts, hats, and they got team cornhole sets now. So you got to mention A2D, and that, you know, either Kickin It Stateside or any of the great shows sent you. But head on down to the boardwalk, Ocean City. Check out All Campus. Glad they're back up and running.
Open. Even
they're back.
January here, even during the off season, they're rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's tough, right? It's a tough stuff, but you know what? I think again, it comes as a glass half full thing for Arsenal, right? I mean, the run that they've been on now, they're sitting in 4th, 5th? Still in fourth, toe-to-toe with the big boys from City, and they did not back down. They look good. Like I said, they look competitive through most of that game. And I was talking about goalkeepers. What a signing this has been. In Aaron Ramsdale. He was kind of skeptical about it, though, knowing that, he played well. You know, Bournemouth, he did pretty well.
Here's the problem with the previous Aaron Ramsdale, and a lot of people, I've been watching this kid for a couple years now, mainly because of FIFA, and, you know, you start looking for these young goalkeepers that you're going to groom, and a few years back, there was this kid on Bournemouth, I think he was about, 19 years old, and Aaron Ramsdale, and
yeah.
He kind of worked his way, and he had that really good year with Bournemouth. And then he went to Sheffield after Henderson left and was kind of put in a bad position with them losing a bunch of players and all that. And he wasn't doing so well, and Arsenal took a shot on him. The kid's 23 years old. And since coming to Arsenal in 17 games, I think it is, right? He's played 17 for Arsenal this year. He's got
fantastic.
He's got 11 wins, 9 clean sheets. I mean, the guy's just he's 11-4, and he has been the game changer. And a lot of people, including myself, I was a big Leno fan, but there were so many holes in his game, and especially the way Arteta wanted to play, it wasn't suited for. And this kid seems to be able to play out of the back a little bit. He seems to be able to get that long ball over the top. Reflexes are phenomenal. And I think, coming up, he's 23, he probably starts pushing with all those other good English. I mean, if you look at all
plethora of great goalies, though. I mean, Pickford,
they do.
He stepped up. He was called out big time, and he stepped up this past Euros and did well.
And you still have Henderson. I mean, Pope's kind of fallen out of favor, I think. I think he's kind of, but I mean, he was doing pretty well with Celtic ever since going there and getting out of Spurs. So it's a nice thing to see from my perspective with that defense getting healthy, just like I said with City, and why they're having such success is having all that health on the defense. And with Ben White and Malaga's having some chemistry, and the addition of Tamayasu on the right back has been phenomenal as well. If he's not getting enough credit, he should. Tierney's finally healthy. Partey's finally healthy.
Got to stay healthy.
They do. That's going to be the key. And right now, Saliba, it looks like he's like defender of the year in League One right now. So if they can finally bring him back, because I know he's been upset that he has not been part of the mix, but it's looking like some good things to grow on. But I'm super happy with the Aaron Ramsdale signing.
It's trending upward. You just got to get Oba out of the picture permanently, and I think you just got to put that in the rear view. Find somebody that's going to come in and complement. Hopefully, I mean, you stick with Martinelli. I don't know what he wants to do personally.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because he wasn't getting the time or if he's still going to want to leave, even if he's going to get the time now.
Maybe some empty threats now that he wasn't getting his time, saying, you know what, well, if I don't play, I'm not going to re-sign. I'm going to look, I'm a young guy. I got to get my minutes,
I know they're looking
there. Bench.
We've been linked to Arsenal's been linked to Isak a little bit, so I'm a big fan of him, the kid who took over the Swedish striker spot for Ibra.
I need to see a little bit more from Alexander because he came to Dortmund. Granted, he was a young kid, and maybe he didn't fit the system. Maybe he didn't get along with. I think Tuchel was there at the time. He just didn't perform the way that we thought he was going to be. Like, we brought him in before Holland thinking he was going to put up the numbers like that. And it just didn't work out, whether that was maturity, just his game wasn't polished enough. He wasn't ready for that step.
Yeah.
But now at Sociedad, he's absolutely killing it.
He is.
And now he's going to come back around, and that name's going to be thrown around and talked about, and he had
a pretty decent Euros, too. He had a pretty good Euros for Sweden,
absolutely. And maybe he was just young when he was too young and didn't understand the game and just wasn't up to that competition, in the Bundesliga. But he's kind of shut me up here recently. I just need to see if he can do that. I don't know if I would, make the huge jump.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he's going to be your top guy, but he may be in the mix, yeah.
He's a good player. He's proven himself wrong. Again, he's still young. He could shut me up really quick. But, I mean, that's I know Eddie and Lord Walker is just kind of bringing that up. I mean, it's huge. Brian and I were talking after or before the show here about, the Pepe signing. I totally forgot about DK.
Yeah.
It's monstrous. I mean, it's huge for the U.S. men's national team and the fans like us, knowing that we got a lot of guys over there in Europe learning, playing guys they're going to see in these World Cup games, that we're going to qualify and play. And you got to get those minutes against good teams and be in a league like that. You got to make the step. You're in Dallas. You're killing it last year. You did great. You had a great year with the U.S. men's national team, kind of came on the scene. We've heard about Pepe a little bit, before. but he finally took that step forward. He announced that he was going to play for the U.S., long term. I think it's great. And for Augsburg, I mean, it's kind of a win-win. If not, you move on, whatever. But
yeah, you're going to sell some jerseys off the jump. You know that.
Yeah, you're going to gain some fandom from probably
the old Pepe train. Yeah.
All the Pepe fans, all the FC Dallas fans probably are going to keep a close watch on these Augsburg games.
Well, yeah, and especially now with ESPN Plus and all these games being available.
They're available.
Like if you're sitting there at 9 o'clock in the morning and one of your teams isn't playing and you see Augsburg's on and Pepe's starting up at striker, I'm going to throw that game on all day.
I mean, we've seen U.S. guys do really well in the Bundesliga. You saw Josh Sargent do it. You saw, I'm drawing blanks here.
Well, Jude's doing it great right now. Bellingham. Right. I mean, Pulisic did it.
Mm-hmm. I don't know why I'm drawing blank, but I am. But yeah, we've seen it before that they go over there and they have some success and then they move on to bigger clubs.
Yeah.
That's what you want to see.
There's been a lot of movement, and
I mean, Chris Richards, he's playing well over there.
Yeah.
He's getting the starting minutes for Hoffenheim. Yeah. I would say just because the DK was a bigger signing just because that they do have an opportunity to be in the Premier League.
Yeah, he made that run before, and they had an opportunity.
He played very well when he got his opportunity.
Dan's over there talking about Alphonso Davies. I love Alphonso Davies because he's a Bayern guy.
Yeah, well, we know how good he is and how...
Speaking of really good Canadians, though, Tejan Buchanan, another one, he's off to Club Brugge, so... That's it's good in general for CONCACAF, not just the US, for these guys to be going. So he's dangerous, man. Watching him play in some of these qualifiers recently, he's one of their better players, without a doubt. I
mean, I forget who I was talking to about Tejan Buchanan, but it's a problem. It's a problem that this Canadian team, that this generation, like of young players with, Davies and Jonathan David, obviously over in France at Lille. Now Tejan Buchanan, he played fantastic for the Revolution last year in the MLS, makes the jump. I hope he does well. It seems like it's a good move. Start with the Belgian league, work your way up. You see, not that Mark McKenzie is a good, example because he's not getting much playing time coming from the Union, but, that's kind of where you get your chops.
Yeah, that'll come for him too. And we just saw James Sands is heading to Rangers.
Yep.
That's another, big move from a guy that's in the mix of Team USA for some playing time. And Adam and I didn't want to really touch on it too much because it disgusts both of us. But him coming off the MLS championship won by NYCFC while we were away. And Union again had a nice run, but unfortunately we're screwed by the league and COVID, and were forced to play a game under just treacherous circumstances. They still almost found a way to win. Should have won. We were all rooting for them. And unfortunately, they were handed an L.
Yeah, brutal situation.
Yeah.
But
and
hey,
New York ended up going on and beating Portland, and now Sands is out of there, heading to Rangers. So.
And I do like James Sands. I can't stand New York City FC.
He's probably like 7th on my center back list right now for Team USA, but
he plays with a little bit of that grit that I like, and I think that we need on the
He's not soft.
Team.
He can play a little CDM too. He can play a little, so he's
got that little bit of chippiness out there that I kind of like from your midfielders, especially like defensive midfielders.
Well, now that he's not on NYCFC, I don't hate him. So he's We'll
He's
jump
a
on
guy
the
to watch,
we'll jump on the Sam's.
sure.
Yeah, we'll jump on the Sam's bandwagon now that he's over at
I
Rangers.
wasn't that high on him before this season, but watching him play in person, I could see like how he is a potential prospect for this US men's national team pool.
His minutes
still got some work to do.
When he got those minutes with the US team, he played well. He had a couple moments where you were like holding your head, a couple stupid passes back, but for the most part, he played well.
He's not going to play midfield for us, though.
No. Whoa, don't say that. You know who's as good as things have been. The man in charge is still the man in charge. So don't.
Hey, he's winning games. I don't really give a shit.
He is. I know. That's why I've been nice about it. But
I'm trying to be nice as possible without saying he needs some work. And he's still our coach, unfortunately. But since he's still our coach, you got to back the guy, and he's winning games, and we're still sitting in second in this, World Cup qualifying. So you can't, beat the man up too much, I guess.
No. Where's Eric's ouch coming from?
I know. I need some more context from Eric's ouch.
Yeah, because was it something we said earlier, or I wasn't sure.
Nah, never happened.
Yeah, I don't know. He might transfer his way back up offensively. Remember when he was with the Whitecaps, he was a forward.
Yeah.
So
that's probably the only way he would actually be in talks about winning a Ballon d'Or.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough from the back to begin with, and then in that position, even tougher.
Lewandowski's scoring 50 goals a season, and he still can't win the frickin' thing.
Well, that's fraud. They're just.
If Messi and Ronaldo are still playing, it's up to those two to.
Yeah, DK. I mean, Van Dijk got his one, which was well deserved. He snuck, and Modric snuck one in there too. But other than that, it's pretty much those two award, which. Even Messi knew this was that was a disgrace.
It's still wild that Louis didn't win it this past year.
Yeah.
Like, how is that even possible? I don't even care that he plays in the Bundesliga, if that's the argument. Or
because he did it in Champions League too.
The argument that Shaka Hislop had was that he doesn't play well enough for Poland on the international stage. And that Messi and Ronaldo play much better on an international.
You know how much better but you know how much more talent they're surrounded by? The Portugal and Argentina teams. Yeah.
Glitch?
Probably. Maybe the goalkeeper.
I don't know.
Sabitzer? No, you got Sabitzer. No, Sabitzer's Austrian, isn't he?
Yeah, he's Austrian.
Yeah, he's Austrian. So I don't know. That's not even right. We all know the corruption in that. I don't care what that.
I just had to bring that up because I still am like, months later, I can't wrap my head around how he didn't win. It's bizarre.
Yeah, with that we had this stupid Champions League redraw.
That's a mess in itself.
Yeah, so that's coming back soon too, and we'll do something on that come February when Champions League does return. But there was a whole mess with that while we were gone, and they drew, and then apparently there was an issue with the software. It seems to be a common theme these days, issues with the software and things. So they went back, redrew. Some had the exact same result, some did not. I think the matchups are going to be good. Should be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, that PSG Real Madrid game is pretty.
I like that.
I know. One. I think
Sergio Ramos is not happy about that, but
he's got to beat the hell out of his old squad. And
he'll miss the second. He'll get a red card in the first game and miss the second leg anyway. So
that's fair. He probably will.
Like the Vegas odds on that can't be too bad.
If that's a possible bet out there, throw some cash on it.
He's definitely done it before.
I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like the other matches are like intriguing, but I mean, the other one I think that's solid is like Atletico versus Man United. But again, Man United's run of form is like total horseshit right now. So
Yeah.
you don't know what Man United team's going to show up and play. And I'm not huge on this signing of Ralph Ragnarok.
Yeah, I don't understand it. We talk about this all the time, though. There are a lot of
And
these
if I
things
was
we
a
don't.
Man United fan, I'd be livid the way that like ownership has been running like their coaching searches and just.
I mean, how?
No wonder they rioted last year outside of Old Trafford, for God's sakes.
You would think,
Not
like,
condoning that, but it's like, what the fuck?
in American sports and guys like Tom Brady and LeBron James and all that, when they're in a situation like that and a coach is being replaced, they're pretty much one of the main guys probably making that say. And like, I don't know, like, was this something that Ronaldo wanted? It doesn't. You would think like that's the guy you're going to go to. You have that resource on your team. Aren't you going to be like, who do you want to be our coach? Because if not, you know how this is going to go. This is going to be so short-lived, and this reunion is just going to be a joke. You're going to have a couple amazing goals, and at the end of the day, he's just going to want to get out of there.
Yeah, it's look, it's still I don't know. I wasn't a huge fan of the sign, and I don't even care. Like, I'm not a Manchester United stan, not even close, but it was just a very interesting hire for them. And Ragnar, he didn't even coach Bayern. He was just part of like the staff.
Yeah.
Or their front office or whatever the hell it was. It wasn't even like he was part of like the coaching staff.
It's that winning culture, though, I guess. But
yeah, in the Bundesliga, which sometimes, gets shit on for Bayern just walking away with the league every year, at least the last 8. And I don't see anything changing this year either.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
Oh, Ray. See, me and Ray got off on such a good foot. And then he had to go defending Messi.
I mean, we just...
No, they won. They won. Oh, man. He wasn't even like the catalyst in why they won that tournament.
Oh. That's silly. Again, I didn't want to hear that excuse that it's the Bundesliga and he gets that. He still does it in Champions League too.
Yeah, everybody forgets that run through Champions League that he went on 2 years ago.
I know where Ray sits on the Messi talk. Just by that little statement.
I know, that's upsetting. I liked Ray so much. And now
he came out, unblazing.
How's PSG doing so far? How's that experiment working?
Come on, isn't the old saying 5th time's a charm? Rebuild. Again, I'm not sure who's rebuilding.
Yeah. Who are you talking about? Who needs to rebuild?
United?
Yeah, again.
Lionel Messi delivered Argentina its first international trophy in 30 years. Dow.
Yeah, exactly. Which means all these other years of his career, he has not delivered one.
That's a poor argument, right?
Proved all my point, because he's been playing for a solid 14, 15 years internationally now. And he got his first trophy. Whoopity-doo.
We can look at what Argentina has to offer roster-wise compared to the Polish team that Lewandowski's got to go on the pitch with, every so often.
Yeah, and if you go back,
I don't
to
like
that.
that. I don't like that argument. You score 50 goals in a high school league, you're still considered pretty fucking good.
Yeah, and he didn't necessarily dominate that tournament. You know, Di Maria had a pretty decent tournament.
Wow, that was a shot right over the bow.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we're not Liverpool. We just don't stick around with the same coach. Sorry.
Does
And
Liverpool
yeah,
have?
I
Does
don't know.
Liverpool have a coach right now?
I don't know. The guy that
He's
they
in
look like
hiding.
the guy that looks like Klopp out of the stands.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's again, I could care less about if Manchester United gets relegated for all I care.
Yeah, that would be great. We at the end of the day we could all argue, but then we'd all be happy and in agreement that that would be a solid thing. But just like Barca's never going to get relegated, Manchester United is probably never going to get relegated. As bad as Barca is, they won't allow Barca to ever get relegated. They'll find a way to, just like they're allowing them to sign Fernan Torres, they're going to give them time to move this and move that and work this and hide that, and because they need to get them back going again.
I mean, Ronaldo's the only one that scores for United, so
Yeah.
they could be in a lot worse shape here, right? But I agree. Even if, Fergie these days would not save this team.
Oh, come on. In that weak tournament? Don't get me started.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm looking
at
the roster.
Because that goes back to when we had our giant argument with Lord Walker about about that and the African Cup of Nations and PSG better be in first place. I know I was talking junk, but they should be in first place. They're 13 points clear in first place. They also have more money spent than the rest of the entire French league on their roster.
They signed this past off season, bro. Come on.
Yeah.
On a free for most.
They literally, I can almost guarantee that their salary equals every other team in the French league combined.
They just brought in Messi, Donnarumma.
Yeah. Sergio Ramos. Yeah.
Yeah. I heard he's off the mend now. He's back.
Yeah.
He will not win that. But knowing the way this corruption is, I'm sure he will. Yeah, it needs to be.
I know, but Lev got snubbed the year before with COVID because they didn't give out a Ballon d'Or. So they went 1 year without giving out a Ballon d'Or when he scored 50-plus goals. And then the next year when he was still dominating, they gave out a Ballon d'Or, and they should have just gave it to him off of the fact that they snubbed him the previous year.
That's what I was alluding to,
And again, I guess I understand, they're going to make their little point, but the Euros, Poland's chances of advancing and making noise in the Euros with that roster, like Adam said, is way less likely than Argentina running through that tournament with or without Messi. And then obviously, Messi gets them over the Brazils and probably the Chiles at the end of the day. And we've seen it where they haven't. We've seen Chile beat them and him quit and cry and walk off the team. Let's go back to that. So if you want to really go there and get me all fired up about this dude again, like we saw that last time when he didn't win a tournament and he walked out on his squad. So he AB'd him before AB did what he did. So he just didn't rip his shirt off. Maybe he did at soccer. He probably did, but yeah. But we all remember that. So
yeah, Lord I think we had this conversation before we had our pause that you got the Copa stan. You're a Copa guy. I get it.
Yeah.
And I said, let's put up.
He should be an African Cup of Nations guy because that tournament's single-handedly bailing his Liverpool team out right now because his guys leaving is keeping them from having to play a game that they should be playing. So he should be a huge fan of that tournament right now.
Exactly. Poland wouldn't even be on the map if Lewandowski was not even a footballer.
Yeah. Yeah, Poland's international history is not that strong. Even with Lev there, he's probably taken them on some of their longer runs.
They underperformed big time. These past, even like qualifying for the World Cup, I don't even think they got through.
Yeah, they've had some issues, but
I don't know. We can argue about that for forever, like the Balloon d'Or and corruption. Like we all know this. I think we'd all argue and come to the conclusion that they're not bad players. Messi's a great player. We've had these debates before, and we always say we're not shitting on the guy.
Yeah. At the end of the day, he is phenomenal.
You realize Messi was on like a Barcelona team that was like a super team for all those years. You realize that, right?
He's just a bitch. That's all. That's the end of the. That's all I get.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Messi's the GOAT, but I mean, come on, give some respect to Louis.
No GOAT status.
It's not like, Bayern, Leroy Sané shouldn't even be on the team. That man should still be in the Prem.
He gets his opportunities. He's been playing well, too.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
And Gnabry, he should make a jump back to the Prem after Tony Pulis told him he'd never play, Premier League soccer again.
Yeah, so the Southampton takeover is complete, it looks like. It is official. It's a Serbian billionaire investment team. So, again, going back to the original of the show, and that would be sponsored by one of our newer sponsors. They've been around with A2D now for a while, but they're newer to us, being just getting back. And that is the Alan Foy of eXp Realty. Looking to buy or sell a home, looking to change your career or brokerage, contact Alan Foy of eXp Realty, LLC, 302-682-8820, or visit them at alan.foy.exprealty.com.
Beautiful.
I
know it's been so long that grabbing new sponsors and grabbing new shows.
Yeah, a lot going on at A2D. And again, Ray, we really appreciate you jumping on with us and being a big part of the show today, along with all of. Yeah, man.
Agreed, Dan. Good to see some familiar faces, though.
I'm guessing the Who Messi to me was talking about the crybaby. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He is. I'm sorry.
It's true.
But we love you, so don't worry. Don't worry about my negative Messi. Don't judge us. Stick with the Gunner love, and don't judge us on the.
Oh yeah, can't.
On my anti-Messi rants.
And we're not anti. There's just some things that. It's true.
Yeah. Does everybody forget the tournament that Messi lost to Chile, and after the game, he said he would never play for Argentina again. And then within 2 years, he was playing for Argentina again. So that's all I'm saying.
It happens.
And at 33 years old, he needed his dad to go in and fight with Barcelona to try and find a way to keep him there, and couldn't go in.
The best players in the world,
He's been with the club 19 years, and he still couldn't fight his own battles. So,
yeah. The best players in the world refuse to play for, their respected countries. Vela. Yeah, I know. We love the hockey happy hour, guys.
Yeah, we do.
Canadian, I'm sure you do love that.
I would never say anything bad about him, and that is definitely, one sport that you guys are actually good at. So I can see why you would enjoy the hockey happy hour. Super Mario and Sid the Kid are both Canadian, so that's the only reason I even talk to you.
That's tough. It's tough love. It is.
I love Dan.
Well, it's good to see him back.
It is. I texted him and let him know that we were going to be on today too, but
he wouldn't miss it for the world.
Yes, but he probably didn't even have to worry about that because Ray, you can do the same thing and subscribe, please, to YouTube, A2D, Kickin It Stateside, just A2D in general. Lots of good stuff, like Dan said. Hockey Happy Hour. You got all the combat shows, all the Philly sports shows. It's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And like I said, we're super glad to be back for the new year and back doing our part.
Yeah, we're just rolling along. It's been a crazy. Feels like 2 years almost. So.
Yeah, man, we've been going for a while. Outside, we've had a couple little breaks here because of the way the world's been and stuff like that, but we've been going steady, going hard. And even when we came back, we were doing 2 shows a week at times. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's been a lot to cover.
I know, that's the thing. It's like there's so much to cover in a time period where we missed everybody.
Huge.
Brian is a legend and a Penguins fan.
I was just saying huge Penguins fan, not legend, but I'll take that too.
He has to throw shots in at me somehow.
He does. Yeah, he's not complimenting you. Or me. He's taking a shot at you. That's.
Oh, I know. All the banter that he does on this is directed at me. Like when he says the Hockey Happy Hour is better show, he's talking to me, saying like I'm shit. Essentially, the underlined thing is I know Dan's tactics after being with us, watching for a while. That's why
awesome.
We've always said that from the beginning,
That's why we're on A2D. Agree to disagree.
We love the banter, Everybody's got a different club. Nobody's going to agree. But at the end, we all love this beautiful game, and we're all going to support our teams. We're going to fight till the very end to, back them up. But
oh yeah, I'm sure.
Fun, man.
I'm sure you're in Chelsea fan groups on different social medias. I'm in a bunch of Arsenal ones, and they all are. We all argue between each other just on our own teams. So it's hard, That's what it's all about. That's kind of what sports is. Gives you that outlet. Gives you something. Everybody sees things differently. I'm just glad I stuck with my guy, and it's looking good right now. So I don't know if you were an Arteta guy or you're not, but I'm liking where we're headed.
Yeah, it's positive. It's just that there's certain players, and you could get certain coaches that, can rally a group. And apparently whatever he's doing, I don't know, because it was looking a little bleak there for Arsenal to start. And now they look great. You
know what he's doing?
Play the youngsters, right? Bingo.
Thank you. That's what he's doing.
That's all he needed to do the whole time, I guess, huh?
That's it, and get healthy.
Martinelli, Smith Rowe, Saka.
Yeah. Ramsdale, I believe we are the youngest team in the Premier League right now. So to be in that position and to be sitting fourth right now to where we were in last place at one point,
back in October, it was like,
Yeah, it was looking kind of bleak. I had the Arsenal jersey flipped backwards hanging on the wall.
Right, until they won a game.
Yeah, until they had to win they had to get out of relegation before I would even flip it back. And then to be where we're at now, the biggest key now, and this is the same thing that we went over with Chelsea when this happened. And they went to the youngster group and they started playing well. And then they hit that off season and they went nutty with a whole bunch of money and got a whole bunch of pieces that weren't quite fit together yet. And it started to look like a mistake. Now, again, they've resurrected that, and I think they've fixed it for the most part. Kai Havertz has turned it around.
Good to see you, buddy.
Later, bro. Like Kai, he's done his thing. Timo still, but Kai he's been a big part of that team. He's had some big goals for Chelsea.
He's finally getting, I think, the English game a little bit. He's coming around to it.
Yeah, so
there's another guy, though, on Chelsea that, speaking of crybabies, Mr. Lukaku has been crying up a storm, and apparently he came out with a video saying that he's sorry to the fans for, complaining, and it's all this, it's the same.
He started today and missed a great opportunity.
It's the same old thing with him.
Yeah, kind of missed time to jump. Could have had a header, put him up 3-0. But
it's ridiculous. I don't even know. You go away, you do well outside of Chelsea, and it's been documented. He's done great. He did great with Inter. Then, the great story, let's bring him back where he, wanted to start. His idol, Didier Drogba.
He was doing great when he first came back.
Yeah, and then he went on like 2-month, 3-month without a goal, and then Tuchel and him, I don't know what the hell the situation is there. We know what kind of manager Tuchel is. He's a tough love guy, and these Belgian guys think they're like God's gift to earth. We've seen it with the Hazards, at least Eden, De Bruyne. Obviously, he had an issue with Mourinho back when he was on Chelsea. It's just Just shut up and not. I'm not going to say shut up and play, but just work hard.
Yeah, I think.
Coaches and stop. Your ego's so damn big you can't even fit through. In the room through the door.
And that's the problem. Some of the speculation apparently was that Tuchel switched up his formation a little bit, and when he did that, it didn't really include Lukaku as much. And some guys accept that, and some guys kind of keep working, like you said. And they work hard, and they become a good teammate, and they're there on the training ground. And there's going to be opportunities where they're still going to be needed, even if it maybe doesn't fit what they're quite doing. They kind of kept their mouth shut and they just go out there and work. Havertz went through it, like we just talked about. He was struggling. Timo struggled big time. He blamed himself for Frank getting fired because he underperformed so bad. And he put that on his own shoulders where he really even shouldn't have. But he did it quietly, he didn't come out and blame everybody else. And
he
Lukaku
had no leg to stand on.
Yeah, Lukaku should honestly the biggest thing he should just be quiet. And if Chelsea's struggling a little bit and he's not playing, he could be like, hey, we're not doing so well and I'm still sitting here. Like maybe play me, figure out a way to get me, and maybe we'll perform. Or if not, be a good teammate and hopefully your team performs without you. And when your time comes, your time's going to come.
Right. But and again, there's been a lot of injuries. COVID. Running through that whole thing and.
Yeah. We got these divas, though. We know. You know that. We're going through this with Oba right now. He says Arteta out unless he wins. Yeah, that seems to be the sentiment in the Arsenal fan group.
I was going to say, that's
everybody out. It's everybody out unless they win. If you don't win, you got to go. That's at the end of the day. But
some teams have a quicker trigger than others with that. It happens.
Yeah, we'll see. Lukaku was all smiles today, but if the right offer comes along and with what just happened, I'm sure they will have no problem making a move and letting him go back to Inter or wherever. And I'm just waiting for the news on Oba. I think that's the last cancer in the locker room that needs to go on the Arsenal side. I think Xhaka has kind of taken that backseat leadership role, and he's whatever the past is the past with him. You know where we stand with him. But I don't care if he's still there, but I think Oba's that last little. He's just he doesn't fit. I think he's lazy. I think his work rate is kind of hit or miss sometimes. His shot selection is poor at times. He goes on his little runs. He had his one good run with Arsenal. You know, that 1 year where he was really worth his value, where he competed and finished in the three-way tie for the Golden Boot. But
yeah, early Oba, when he wanted out of Dortmund so badly, he was willing to go anywhere, and got a new change of scenery and that little bit of confidence back, and he did really well.
Yeah, and then got a big. After he got paid,
he goes.
He's been kind of, but
does this everywhere he goes. He's unhappy after so long. He wants a new challenge. Same old song and dance. And once he leaves, the team in the locker room, like you said, will be so much better off. Other than Spurs today and West Ham, who in the top 6 has Arsenal beaten?
Doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you have to play who's on your schedule.
Who's put in front of you, right?
Yes.
That seems to be a popular topic these days in sports in general. Just saying, well, their competition. Look at their competition. It's like, well, did they choose the schedule? No.
The Everton loss was inexcusable. They should have beat United as well. Both of those were games that they let slip away.
Stink.
Yeah, both those games were bad. They beat Leicester while Leicester was in the top 4, I believe. I believe that 2-0 win against Leicester. Leicester was sitting in the top 4, top 6 at that moment. I don't know. I don't know what you want from them. They got to play who they got to play. We just took City again. We got smoked by City 5-0. But at the same time, we came back and we fought City and we went toe to toe with City. And now we're going to have this opportunity to beat you for the Carabao Cup.
Is that what it is?
And then he'll say, "Oh well, we don't care. We're still ahead in the Premier League." We'll get that same old dance, just like when we won the FA Cup. They don't care. FA Cups are meaningless. If they won it, it would be a whole different story. Klopp's the greatest. Klopp has 75 trophies. He's the greatest of all time. But once they lose it, it's like, oh, it's just an FA Cup. All you care about is FA Cups. It's all you guys win is FA Cups. I know. It's okay. I understand.
Newcastle. Speaking of stink.
You're as bitter as all of us because Man City just keeps buying their way.
We're all bitter.
We are. Speaking of teams that are on the rise, though, Wolves have made a nice run. Everybody's kind of neglected to talk about them, but they were sitting down in that scary area at the bottom, and they worked their way up to 8th place. Brighton's still sitting in 9th. So they haven't dropped off too much. That's been pretty impressive this year. Their goalkeeping has been solid this year.
Yeah, Wolves got that dude in. That's pretty solid. A nice replacement for when Rui Patricio left.
Yeah.
Well, their defense, I feel like, has always been solid. Even under, Nuno when he was still there, I thought they were still good.
So do we think Newcastle, what you said, riddle me this. Newcastle has 1 win. Who is it against?
Arsenal? Do they really have only one win? Wow. So Burnley and Newcastle have one win each. And didn't we call that? Whoa! Didn't we say Burnley was going to get relegated?
Yeah, that was on. They were hot on that list, so they were definitely. I would not be surprised if that happens. Yeah, I mean, he's over here. I mean, you guys are out here drawing bad teams, though, and that's why you're not going to win a title this year. So it doesn't mean you're going to be in the same spot that we are, because you're out there drawing Brighton. You lost to West Ham. You're drawing Spurs, barely beating Wolves. I mean,
hey, Conte's got Spurs. Well, besides today.
Yeah. They're going to have no problem playing that game against Shrewsbury Town on the 9th. They're not asking for a postponement on that one. I hope they lose to Shrewsbury. That's the actual town that my ancestry was from. Yes, was Shrewsbury Town, which is home of the Shrewsbury Town FC team that will be taking on Liverpool, or supposed to be taking on Liverpool on 1-9 in the FA Cup third round, if they don't, weasel their way out of another one.
They just might.
Yeah. Yeah, we lost to Newcastle. We had one of the worst starts to any season, but yet we're still sitting in fourth. Okay, big problems. Big problems. We have the youngest team in the Premier League. Problems where your team is just getting older and more injured every year. That's cool. Hendo struggling to get back. It's all right. It's okay.
No excuses here.
Just trying to rest. They're just trying to rest up. They're going to make their Champions League run. Probably not. There's no dynasty. That's the thing. They wanted a dynasty. They won. It was great. It was so nice. It was so beautiful of them. They won a Premier League and a Champions League in the same season. And then since then, it's been average.
Living in the past.
Yeah. Third, fourth, second. Second's first loser. We're all losers if we don't win the league, right?
We've had this conversation before. We've had it.
I know. The United loss was terrible. Yes, it was. That was just Ronaldo being Ronaldo. Arsenal lost to Brentford. I mean, you want to go back to the very beginning. Arsenal lost to Brentford. That was the start of it all. Imagine, but here's the thing. We're 7 points behind you. So imagine if things were right by then, because they weren't right. You want to go over the rosters. You want to talk about injury issues. You want to talk about problems. There was a lot of those when those things were happening. You want to make excuses? There was a lot of those when those were happening. So take that back. We should have beat Newcastle. Absolutely. So give us that one and give us the Brentford one at the beginning of the year. Now we're 1 point. We're just 1 point behind you. So we're bad. We're very bad. Bad team. Terrible team. Terrible club.
That was a tough one though. That was Brentford's first home game back in the Prem in forever.
Yeah. Yeah, you didn't have to play that fixture. We had to play that fixture. We had to take on the team that hadn't been in the Prem since 1941.
They were hype in a new stadium too. Love it.
Considering you have 0 why.
This is my favorite part when Brian and Lord Walker just go at it about certain topics, and I'm just like, this is great.
I know. Then I'll just I do have my Byron pants on, so I can still talk about Champions League.
He switches his allegiance quickly to his the beloved German Giants.
Yes. Hey.
In a quick switch.
It would be nice though if somehow Arsenal could sustain this and find a way back in the Champions League, but I'm not overly hopeful. What did we do? Preseason predictions, and where did I have them? 6. My preseason prediction of them 6 looks way better than Lord Walker's Leeds preseason prediction of being in 6. I can tell you that.
I wasn't going to bring that up.
We want to start bringing that kind of stuff up. Because right now, we're in a really good shot of being in 6, I think, with the games remaining and the fixtures remaining and all those things and the way we're playing. I think there's a good opportunity for that.
You're allowed to have one bad prediction every once in a while. It happens.
Yeah. Aaron Ramsdale and Allison are looking pretty evenly matched right now statistically as well. Just saying. I know. That's good. He's going to erupt on that one.
A lot of season left.
There is.
You can really make these.
They're both even on clean sheets, though. Both at 9 clean sheets, and Ramsdale hasn't played as many games.
There's a lot of time.
There is.
Again, we still have a pretty close race down there for relegation, so. But that's for another day.
See, that's where I gotta address that because no one said we were playing for 6. We gave predictions of what was supposed to be logical finishes for a season, and having the youngest team in the Premier League and having an underdeveloped or still a working system and a new coach, 6 was reasonable for a team that spends as much money as Arsenal and should be a top 6 club. It was a reasonable selection. That wasn't the target. The target's always first place. As a fan and a supporter, the target is first place. But as somebody on this end who's objective, 6 was a reasonable pick. Right. You want to do if I'm those guys doing Arsenal only podcasts, then yeah, sure. It's always number one. But I'm a try to be biased and be intelligent in my selections. And right now, it's looking like that was a relatively intelligent selection, especially since I picked City to win the league, too. If everybody goes back to those and remembers, I still had City winning the league. So right now, I'm looking pretty good in our preseason there.
Yeah, we'll have to revisit that. I don't even remember where I put them.
I got them somewhere.
I forget. But, I remember I think City was a popular choice for first, obviously, besides the Liverpool people.
And Chelsea. I mean, Chelsea should have been a reasonable pick for first.
I didn't even pick them to win.
I don't think you did, no. I think I picked them to finish 4th. I don't remember. We'd have to go back
down there.
I had them in the top 4, but I think I had them. I think I had City, United, which that was a mistake at 2, and then Chelsea or Liverpool, Chelsea, something like that. I don't know.
We'll revisit those once the season comes to an end and see
where we
way off. I'm not saying anybody.
All I know is I didn't have Leeds in 6. That's all I'm saying.
Shocked from that point, shocked to now.
Yes. Although they've woken up a little bit.
I mean, our boy Brendan Aronson, I saw, was getting possible looks at Leeds here.
Oh yeah. Is that
some of the reports? One of the teams that were watching them.
Going back to that, and going back to the Pepe thing, and now with Sands and all these guys moving, like, do you feel like that's not only just becoming a wave because of good players and the fact that we are producing world-class quality players now, but the fact too of just like pure marketing? Do you think is it going to be the trend to get at least one of these guys on your team? Like, if you're these big clubs, aren't you going to want to try to get the U.S.'s number one striker on your team at some point? And I mean, you're already seeing it with Pulisic in Chelsea, and you're seeing it with Dest in Barcelona and McKinney. Like, I feel like that's going to start becoming the thing. Like, I'm looking at, I'm like, oh, who's Arsenal's American going to be? Who's Liverpool's American going to be? Like, is that going to be the thing?
Yeah, it has to be. I think now that these clubs around the world are getting smart and they see that, Americans are tuning into soccer a little bit more. Again, they have the with ESPN Plus, the accessibility of watching more games. They have more Bundesliga, Serie A opportunities to watch these guys, and that definitely plays a factor into them. Look at like Venezia in Serie A. They're buying up a bunch of Americans.
Yeah.
Busio, I think Tanner Tressman's there. Kid from the Union is there. Jack DeVries was on loan there. So, yeah, and there's been a handful of guys that have went to these bigger clubs and succeeded. Like, you saw Weston McKennie start at Schalke. He played fantastic there, hence why he got signed with Juve once Schalke was in the shitter and got relegated. Obviously, you can't keep him. You saw Hopi coming in there first year play well. There's guys out there that have done it. Chris Richards, maybe not at Bayern, that's a stretch. But, I mean, he's getting his time at Hoffenheim and really, shining, coming into his own. So, yeah, I think it's a smart deal. The clubs know it. The accessibility is there. The jersey sales are going to be there. I mean, Augsburg's going to sell a shit ton of Pepe jerseys. West Brom's definitely going to sell a bunch of DK jerseys.
Oh yeah.
And these guys have shown that they can play. So I think it's a win-win for the club and the player. 20 mil for Pepe. I think he'll probably triple that at some point.
I was going to say, I think the West Brom DK deal was a steal. I don't know what went on there, but I feel like Orlando could have got more for him back when he went on that run last year, and then they brought him back for their team this year. And I feel like they might have even lost a few bucks at 9 mil. If he can, West Brom's currently sitting fourth in the league championship, 3 points behind Fulham, 4 behind Blackburn Rovers, and then Bournemouth's leading it right now. Surprise, surprise. Bournemouth's going to probably be back just to get bounced again another year from now. But
we saw Daryl DK come into a Barnsley team that was like 10th or 12th in the table when he got there and got them into a playoff situation.
Yeah, and that's a Barnsley team that's sitting bottom, second from the bottom in the table now without a guy like that this year.
That's what I'm saying.
So, yeah.
He's done it. They know that West Brom was like, look, like he's played well for in this league before. I'm sure he's going to be able to do it again. So, again, win-win. I think it's great. The future's bright. You can't not say that. I mean, again, with the resurgence of kind of Canada coming into their own, that kind of course, things are never easy with the U.S. men's national team. And now with Canada having a great squad and in first place, over us, it's never going to be easy, but, it's to go into this World Cup in 2022 in Qatar. This is a great opportunity for these guys to gain the experience for when we host in 2026. I said today, I was like, we go into Qatar, we get out of our group, and let's say we win a quarterfinal. Let's say we win around a 16 game, get to the quarters. Maybe we lose in the quarters, but at least we're like, okay, we were able to get to the final 8. We showed that what we can do. Let's try and, get one step better for that 2026 and maybe get to the, semis or something like that.
Yeah.
And just build off that. It's just, I think the sky's the limit for, like, especially the younger kids. Like, we're seeing Brian Reynolds, like these 18-year-olds, like even Paxton Aronson's brother,
yeah,
are getting looked at big time, and he's
Dude,
17.
People are out there posting depth charts, and there's guys missing that had big roles in this last run of Team USA games. So, yeah, it's definitely a great thing, and I'm excited to see where these guys end up. He keeps Brendan Rodgers to Arsenal. I'm not sold on Brendan Rodgers. Leicester slips every year. That championship was great. That win was great. They start off great every year, and look at them now. They're back in that same spot. That's not my go from 8th to 4th from last season. Beat the Spurs, West Ham.
Yeah, he won it.
But going back to the team, the biggest thing coming up is I'm looking like the tables. We're second, but we're only a point ahead of Mexico and a point ahead of Panama. The Panama one scares me still a little bit. Like we gotta be ready for these games coming up here. Starting with El Salvador, we already know what happened the first time. We went down there. Whatever, hostile environment, the story, we all know the story. We underperformed, period. That game has to be the statement game. That's got to be 3 points. That's got to be multiple goals picked up in the goal differential, because right now we're still one behind Canada on that stat as well. So that's got to be like a 3-0, 4-0 type game.
Yeah, you gotta beat them up pretty bad at home. Where's that game at?
That's maybe Ohio somewhere. Let's see.
Because I'm pretty sure
that's Columbus.
Okay.
That's at Columbus.
And February 2nd against Honduras, they're playing in Minnesota, aren't they?
I believe so, yes.
In the snowy tundra, I'm sure.
And obviously we go on the road to Canada.
In a snowy tundra.
That's on the 30th. So these 3 coming up they're big. The Honduras and the El Salvador have to be wins. And then like the Canada game in Canada, you accept a draw. You don't want to draw. We've talked about that. You want 9 every little window, but we got to be reasonable. 7's fair there on the road against a good Canadian team. But that really puts us in the driver's seat then heading forward after that.
I mean, you get 2 wins out of that. I'm pretty sure if you lose to Canada, I mean, the group is gone. You're not winning the group. You
need those because then come March, the final 3, you got to play Mexico and you got to play Panama. The 2 that are right in there with. So we got those games left. And the Mexico game is on the road, and we still got to go on the road to Costa Rica to end the whole thing.
Right.
And
that's why this 3-game window coming up in January into February is so big, because you want to get as many points as possible where you're not looking at going on the road to Mexico or that last game against Costa Rica and being like, oh, are we going to be in second or are we going to be in fourth?
Yeah, we can't have that game. That game needs to be meaningless. That game needs to be playing a bunch of young kids that need caps and stuff to where we've already qualified.
We should not have to go into that final couple games and have to come out with a win on the road like we did last time.
I think the Mexico game on the 24th, that should be a game that no matter whether we win or draw, that result clinches a top 3 spot, and we don't have to worry about some stupid playing game.
Right.
That should be the target. And then after that is all gravy. If we can go and beat Panama at home and kind of win the whole thing, the group, and then coast versus Costa Rica and not worry about it, that would be phenomenal.
Exactly. That's why you don't want to leave it up, Ray. You don't want to leave that, Costa Rica game up for chance to be like, well, where are we going to end up?
Yeah. Yeah, and you can't.
History is just not on our side with
and fourth place is not where you want to be right now, because we've talked about that, and the level of competition you're going to see in that play-in fourth place game is not what you want to do.
Common Bowl fourth place, or
Yeah, or somebody big in Europe, like, that's just on the outside looking in. You don't want that noise. You don't want that
A
noise.
2-leg against like Chile or something.
Yeah, yeah. Like,
Can you imagine?
let's just handle the business. Let's have a nice run at the end of this month and into the start of February, and have a relaxing March.
We need to just put teams away that we're supposed to, like El Salvador.
Yeah. That has to be a statement game. That has to be a statement game. It's on ESPN2. Everybody's going to have an opportunity to watch it. Yeah, they love playing in Columbus. Like, and after what El Salvador did to them down there, I mean, you got to go strong. Yeah.
A lot of bulletin board material, man. You could.
Yeah.
And just they're not good team.
Those fans better make it a hostile environment for those El Salvador players, just like we had to have riot shields up around our guys taking corner kicks. Like that, it's up to those Ohio fans to really, at least they're not in Cincinnati.
It's true. They chose the correct Ohio.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, again, we're still not on the Uncle Greggy bandwagon quite yet, but I mean the results have been there. Besides, like Ray said, some of the lapses. That Jamaica last game, total lapse, and they probably should have lost that game, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
you can't have that.
No.
And the tinkering of the lineups and just like the toying.
I know, and we're at that
best 11 and put them on the freaking field. I don't need to see like random George Bellows and random guys trying to impress the coach. Like, I don't need that.
And the crazy thing is, we got our, like, Jesse's available, right? But here's the thing. Jesse's available, awesome. But the only way that happens is if we don't qualify.
Correct.
And I'm not willing to sacrifice that. I'm not willing to sacrifice that.
We can't.
I'd rather qualify, get in, not get out of group stages, but still get in, and that's what gets them fired, and then Jesse comes in. We cannot have that no qualification. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. No. I don't care. I don't care if I would be named head coach if we don't qualify. We can't not qualify for this World Cup.
It would be just as the U.S. as a whole looking in, like from the outside looking in, it's like, well, the U.S. is just the same old thing. They say they have great world-class players, and they got guys playing all over the world and on Chelsea and, these bigger clubs, but they still can't make a World Cup. And then it's even more embarrassing when in 2026, you don't even have to qualify. And then it's like, are they even worthy of being in the tournament that they're hosting after not making the previous 2 World Cups? But I don't even want to think about that, because that's embarrassing if Panama gets in front of us.
Yeah.
No offense to the Panamanians. But we have players, again, playing at some big clubs around the world,
where most of these countries might have one, if that, and usually don't.
And the biggest Panamanian player plays in the MLS, for God's sakes.
Yeah. So,
foot on throat time for the U.S. men's national team. If Greggy's got the balls, he will do that. But what's up?
Sorry. No, I want to know, like, what does he mean? They made a great showing. Who made a great showing? That stadium is beautiful. Yes. Who made a great? But who made a great? What do you mean they made a great showing? There's no. They finished last place in the entire league again. They're the worst team. They should be relegated to not even below the USL. That stadium should be given to somebody who deserves it.
Note for Ray that Brian has been thrown out of a MLS supporter Facebook chat for just shitting on Cincinnati just numerous times and just unrelenting shit talking. It was pretty funny.
It was well deserved.
It was.
They're terrible. They're absolutely, absolutely, absolutely terrible.
Hey, Ray, football isn't dead.
It's not dead. That's why we're here. We're resurrecting it. We are bringing it back. That's why we are doing this.
It's far from dead. It's never going to surpass American football or any of the big four, but it's pretty close to hockey in the U.S. as a popularity.
And
so it's not dead. It's getting there.
And baseball's
You'd be surprised.
Baseball's almost dead. So,
well, yeah, they're going to self-implode with the way they're managing their own league.
Yeah.
But, that's for another show.
Yes. Well, now that we're back.
But, yeah.
Anything else you want to go over or discuss today?
I think we covered a lot. Decent bit, I think, for a good, comeback show. I think we laid it out. Had some good talks. Ray, appreciate you chiming in.
Yeah, join us again, please.
Good bantering and good talks, It's kind of the safe space we have for anybody that ever. We said this from the beginning since we started, even before A2D, that we, wanted this to be like a safe space, and for everybody that, there's a million people that are like closeted soccer fans, but they just don't talk about it because a lot of people or their friends or family just don't care, don't understand enough. And this is kind of like that place to come and, get your, get that chat on, man.
Yeah. Get your soccer fix. And badmouth Spurs fans.
True.
And the team.
I wouldn't say in our lifetime, but I do think that soccer will surpass baseball.
Baseball is going to turn into Blurn's ball.
It's going to be, let's juice the balls. Let's do this. Let's make the laces raise. Let's do that.
Yeah.
All right.
Robotic pitchers.
Let's time the pitching.
Yeah.
It's no longer your grandpop's baseball. But
it's
hey,
unfortunate.
You know what, guys? Thank you again for joining us for our first show back in 3 months. We really appreciate it and appreciate you guys giving us the time to, get a little refresher and figure out our own, lives outside of the show. We appreciate you guys. Ray, again, appreciate you chiming in. It's always good to see a fresh face. Obviously, Lord Walker, we love you, buddy. We love the banter per usual.
Absolutely.
Everybody that's checked in, Dan, Greggy, Chuckser, we love you all. We're so great to be back. Joey, good to see him out here. Eddie, obviously.
Yeah. Eric popped on. I still don't know why he said ouch, but
yes, that was a quick one. Could have been during my brain fart where he's like, wow, they're just bumbling idiots at this point.
Nah. We're back, brother. We're back.
And it feels great. We'll see you guys soon. Again, this is going to be our new show time going forward for the time being. We're going to do 4:30 to 6 Eastern time, Wednesday nights. So, yeah, please join us again. Again,
follow us on all the socials.
Like and subscribe. Again, Ray, thank you. We got that A2D membership still going, $9.99 a month. You want to check that out again, and we got all the shows from all different types of sports, football, baseball, basketball. We got it all here. So yeah, check us out. Keep looking for all the great shows, and we'll see you guys next Wednesday. Thanks again.
All right, brother. Love you guys.
Love you guys. See ya.
Later.